Hello, thanks for taking the time to watch this video where you're going to learn how to achieve financial independence in 3 to 5 years rather than 20 years. And this is an offshoot of the Personal Wealth Academy. And the essence of this video is to help you identify exactly where you are on your financial journey. Because trust me, everybody's on a financial journey. It's just that we're probably heading in two different directions, depending on where you are located. So this video is going to show you where you are on your journey, and then it's going to end by recommending the ideal steps that you can take to not just become financially free and live a life of abundance and intentionality, but actually how to compress that time frame. And I think you're going to love what you are going to see. So let's dive into the content right away. So I'm going to take you through something called the perpetual wealth quadrant. And this is going to help to situate you, accurately on your financial journey. All right. Basically, there are two um, opposites. There are two opposites on the spectrum of income, okay, which we're going to look at, and then we're going to have another spectrum of assets. So looking at income, which is this horizontal line here, we have low income and we have high income. So it's basically just one of two options. It's either you're earning a low income or you're earning a high income. And even though this is subjective, but you pretty much can have a good idea based on how well that income serves you on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. Okay, now the next axis, which we're going to look at, is your asset profile. How many assets do you have and how many liabilities do you have? Or what's the flow of your income? Are you spending more on assets or are you spending more on liabilities? And these two factors have a great deal in determining where you are in terms of your personal wealth. Okay, so the very first quadrant we're going to talk about is this lower left one where you are earning a low income, but in addition to the low income, you're actually spending majority of your income on liabilities. Now, what exactly are liabilities? This to just summarize and keep it simple, it's just things that take money out of your pocket. That's liabilities. So they take money out of your pocket, but they do not replenish. So assets initially take money out of your pocket because you have to acquire them, but assets replenish, right? And then they give you an extra stream of income. So the first quadrant is people who have a low income but are spending majority or all of their income on things that will not reproduce, income for them. And we call that hardship. This is essentially the experience that you face if you are in this quadrant where it's very, very difficult to plan. Essentially the whole preoccupation of whoever is in this quadrant is how to feed, how to survive. Food, shelter, clothing. Basically, those three things. It's how to get the next meal. And this is a very, very vulnerable position to be in, all right? Because there are no guarantees, there are no cushions, and there's no predictability with this kind of person. Somebody here, even if opportunities come to you, you cannot take advantage of them, okay? Because you don't even know where you will be in the next week or the next month, all right? Just because your primary preoccupation here is just sustenance, it's survival, it's feeding. Okay, so that is the experience that I call hardship. And the second quadrant we'll look at is survival. So for people in survival, you are earning a low income, a relatively low income, but you are in a different frame of mind because you are spending more of your income on assets. Now, assets is not only directly things that put money in your pocket. So investing in yourself can also fall as asset because that generates a return. If you invest in yourself by acquiring more skills, by improving your confidence level, your self-esteem, those kinds of things do the impact on your income and your the impact on your relevance in society. So when you are in those in survival mode have a low income, but they are better off than those in hardship because there's hope and these guys can plan. All right, so that's survival, but it's still not ideal. It's just a little bit better. You're still vulnerable if you are in survival mode because you can't plan beyond the next 30 days. So you may have a job, but you may find that you are running out of funds in the middle of the month. So even though you have a job, the money you are earning is not enough, or the business you are running can't cater for your monthly expenses. So this is what I call survival mode, and it's just a very vulnerable place to be in, especially in an economy where things are very volatile and prices of commodities can swing, exchange rates, and many of the things that we are experiencing right now on a global scale. Okay. The third category of people are people who are living in stress. Now, I call this perpetual stress, and we are emphasizing on the experience that you are having, not necessarily how much is in your account. All right. The experience is stressful. So people who are living in this quadrant, they earn a high income that can support their lifestyle. It takes care of them for the month. So these people are not getting into debt every month. The salary that they take or the income from their business is enough to cover the expenses. You will look up to people in this quadrant and desire to have their kind of lifestyle because they drive nice cars, their kids go to good schools, they live in a good part of town, and on the outside everything seems okay. But deep down inside, they're experiencing insane levels of stress. And it's not far-fetched because majority of their income is spent on things that do not put money in their pockets. So even though you earn a very high income, if you're spending majority of your money on liabilities, um, maybe on your lifestyle, okay, your rent, you have a home mortgage or a car loan, you have lifestyle choices, entertainment, vacation. These guys want to look good, they want to appear, they have, a huge budget for their appearance and just keeping up the operation going, right? But majority of that is liabilities and you feel like you are on a treadmill. So if you are living a good life but you feel like you are on a treadmill, like you can't take your leg off the pedal. If these kinds of people um always look forward to when they can go on vacation or when they can just have a break. So that's what describes this stress quadrant. Okay. And if care is not taken, you usually have people in this quadrant experience maybe mental or psychological breakdowns somewhere down the line, and because they're just living in this perpetual stress experience. The very last quadrant is what I've termed abundance. Okay, this is the experience you feel if you're in this quadrant. And what these guys have understood is that even though you earn a high income, you need to apportion a good chunk of that into buying assets because it's not the income that actually frees you. The income gives you a good enough foundation, kind of like a launching pad, but you need to channel a good chunk of that income into cash flowing assets, into things that will put money into your pocket. Because eventually, when you have sorted out the money problem and there's no stress in terms of your daily upkeep, your monthly upkeep, running the house, keeping the lights on, and basically sustaining your family and your household, when the stress of that has been taken care of, then you can now focus on living with intention. So that's why the experience here is abundant because these people have personal power. You have the funds, you have the relationships, you have the time and the energy to pursue your passions, to live a life of meaning and a life of fulfillment. All right. That's where that's the ultimate aim, that beyond financial freedom, You want to live a life of personal power where you have resources and the energy to actually live with intention. All right, so these are the four quadrants, and just running through this way simply, you should have an idea of where you fall in this quadrant, because when we determine where you are in this quadrant, we can now say, all right, this is the best path of action for you to take. So quickly, we're going to look at each of these three quadrants: hardship, survival, and stress. What's the primary focus? Just by that alone, watching this video, you should know exactly where you should be focusing. So if you find yourself in hardship, all right, where there's no predictability with your finances, what you need to be focusing on primarily is financial literacy. It's your relationship with money that's at fault, right? Even though you are earning a little, life should not be that bad. So you need a little bit of tweaking in your mindset towards money, and uninstalling bad habits and learning, wealthy habits. Okay, and the disciplines that you would have to imbibe to keep that running. So your primary focus is going to be financial literacy and improving your relationship with money, essentially. But if you are in survival quadrant, okay, where you already have things going in the right direction, the challenge is just that your income is low. All right. You are investing in the right direction. You are improving your mind. You are meeting people. You are investing in relationships, but your income is low. So what you need is an income accelerator. We need to bump up that income so that it can act as a catalyst, a multiplier effect on the good things you are already doing, and then you can just produce better results. So you need to focus on increasing your income, right? Accelerating your income. And there are a couple of steps which we're going to talk about that you can do that can quickly begin to move the needle when it comes to accelerating that income. All right. Now, for the third quadrant, which is stress, those who are earning substantial income, but your daily experience, your monthly experience is one of stress. Every time prices increase, your blood pressure goes up, and you're not sure if you can just keep the lights on or keep up the lifestyle that you've already acquired. All right, what you need to focus here is building cash flow assets. You need an engine, you need a framework, a vehicle that can spit out cash for you on a daily, weekly, monthly, or annual basis that will be enough to cover your expenses, that will be enough to fund your lifestyle. You're going to need to create that. And once you're able to do that, you'll find yourself in the next quadrant, which is abundance. Because what the guys in abundance have that you do not have is certainty. The guys in abundance understand that come what may, this particular amount of money is hitting my account by the end of the month, or by the end of the quarter, or by the end of the year. All right. So there's predictability, there's certainty, and there's definitely freedom. These are the four quadrants on your journey to personal wealth and financial independence. But I've also given you the three critical steps based on where you fall, that if you follow and focus on these steps, you can at least find yourself in the next quadrant, further along on your journey to financial freedom and abundance. Now, what I want to show you next is just to take a deeper dive into these three steps. And this is what I've called the three-step personal wealth formula. Basically, the SMART framework for high achievers who want to compress time frames and achieve independence in 3 to 5 years rather than 10 to 20 years. And this is broken down into three steps, which are further broken down into three micro steps. So the first step here is called the Money Fitness Protocol. And this is where we are talking about your financial literacy. We're talking about your money disciplines, your money habits, uninstalling the bad habits and installing good habits. And look, no matter where you are on the spectrum or on the quadrant, there may be some habits that you need to uninstall. There will be some habits you need to uninstall, and there will be new habits that you need to install. So for some others, it may just not be your primary focus, but Going through these 9 steps actually knocks off all the points, all the factors that you need to get in check to become financially free. So step 1 is to get disciplined with savings. Okay. You hear people in the hardship quadrant saying, look, there's no point saving. I don't have any money, but I don't have any money, so I can't save. All right. So these people, they are focused on how to eat, and there's absolutely no consideration for even taking a little out of that little to just form the habits. Even though it can't really achieve much, but you need to install the habits now before the money comes, not after. So step 1 is to get disciplined with savings. Step 2 is to get disciplined with budgeting. All right. And basically, this is talking about determining how much you want to spend in advance and being disciplined to that budget. So you need to allocate your funds, even though they are so small. You need to learn how to begin to allocate those funds into different buckets. Your feeding, your transportation, your leisure, giving, faith, healthcare. Just have a good understanding of the your money flows, and create some disciplines around that. What discipline does for you is that it gives you a sense of confidence that you are actually in control and not just trying to get any amount of money to make ends meet or to get by. Step 3 is where we talk about your financial discipline. So your financial fitness. We're basically looking at your vulnerabilities. Are you in debt? How much debt are you actually in? And what kinds of debt are you in? How do you get yourself out of debt? This is where we talk about your safety nets. Do you have an emergency fund? In the event of any mishap, majority of people are, just one financial mishap away from poverty. Like, even a lot of people who seem to have good lives, um, they won't be able to keep up if there was just one major, maybe a health mishap or something like that in the family or in their personal lives. So we're going to look at your financial fitness and quickly see how to get back in shape. Step 2 is what I call the income accelerator. And this is how to use smart leverage to accelerate your capital. As just following these 3 steps, we're going to leverage your skills and assets. All right, because we're going to look at your low-hanging fruits essentially. What do you have in your hands? Do you have resources? Do you have platforms? Do you have skills? Do you have intellectual capital? Do you have ideas? Do you have a job? Do you have a business? We'll look at your skills and assets and see how we can optimize some of them or actually create new avenues to earn accelerated income. And then we're going to look at leveraging your relationships. We're going to see, the productive relationships. We're going to see unproductive relationships. We're going to look at how to strategically network upwards, all right, and get into the room with people that can actually advance your career or your income. All right. So there's steps you can take to actually audit your relationships and put you on the right track to accessing that. A brilliant person once said that relationships are better or are more important than product knowledge. And what that means is, look, what you may have to slave for with your effort for 5 years to achieve, another person who is not half as smart as you are could actually achieve that in a week or less, just because they have the right relationships. People that could open the doors for them, could introduce them to opportunities, and help them achieve those results much faster. So we're going to also look at systems and platforms, things like technology, social media, routines. What systems can we build around you to not only optimize your network, your social standing, your appearance, how people perceive you, but actually put you in a position to tap into more opportunities. So that's systems. We want to build systems around what you already have so that it's actually optimized and it's sustainable. Step 3 is the freedom engine. And this is where we really, really dive deep into creating this cash flow vehicle that we talked about. All right. So we're going to look at things like your freedom number. Because if you get into a vehicle and you're going on a journey, we want to know exactly where you're headed. So where exactly are you going? All right. How much do you need to have in cash flow assets or investments that can give you enough income to cater for your expenses? How do we calculate this number? What kinds of allowances should we put? Because you need to have a fixed target that you are running towards. If you're going to do this as a sprint, because that's what we're doing, a 3-year sprint, or you need to know exactly where the finish line is for this particular project. And once we're done with that, we're now going to go out there and shop for vehicles. We're going to look at what vehicles you are comfortable driving, and to make that kind of decision, we need to know your risk profile. We need to know your risk appetite. Uh, the, Talking about your risk profile, how old are you? How many years do you have if you are in employment before you retire? We need to look at all these things while we are designing your ideal freedom engine. And once we've done that, we can now go on to design and implement your cash flow engine. So while we have recommendations on, proven step-by-step strategies to multiply your wealth and accelerate your freedom, at this point, we are doing something unique to you, something that you can consistently implement for 3 to 5 years and get you to hit your freedom number. So these are the essential 3 steps or 9 micro steps that you can follow if you're really serious about achieving financial independence, and you can knock this off in 3 to 5 years if you implement exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. So that being said, I know it's a lot to take in, but that's why I'm here as a guide to help you further along the path to eliminate mistakes. Even though you have a good idea, having someone guide you through this process is going to help you achieve your results faster with less stress. We are already busy. Overwhelm is a big factor. And many times you just need somebody that you can be accountable to and can whisper in your ear that you are on the right track and you just need to keep going. So I want to invite you to have a conversation with me if you want to take this to the next level, so I can show you what your ideal next step is. We can figure out exactly where you are in your journey, and what is the primary focus that you need to deploy your energies into to move it to the next level. So thanks a lot for watching this video. I look forward to having a conversation with you. Click the link below or above this video to get in touch, and we'll continue from there. Cheers and God bless.